that's a true story?
That was a true story. That's crazy.
For real? Tell me more.
Hey, chat.
Yeah.
We don't have no R&B like that anymore.
At all.
None.
Closest they got to was 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Baby, close your eyes and turn off the lights. Yeah, R. Kelly, he ain't do this shit.
Robert
True.
did,
Robert did, though.
Robert Kelly.
just like Sean did.
Puff did
They
that.
got witnesses on Sean.
Speaking of that, you know what Puff got in trouble for? Of course, Puff did all the stuff he did, but you know why they came after Puff.
Somebody told me that his lawyer quit.
Yeah, he did.
His lawyer is the same one who, like, represented, like, what's his name? Osama bin Laden.
You that's because the same people. Puff was trying to create a political party
Oh, damn.
Of rapists?
of us.
Of rapists.
No, Puff would have. Of course, he had the financial to do it too.
To make a black political
make a
party
black
that
political
would
party.
never run in this country.
No, because they're gonna cut the head off the snake before the ball gets rolling. Bye, Puff.
So they
Let's
didn't.
talk about the baby oil, y'all.
He had made that comment on the talk show, and I remember when he said it, and I was like, "That's crazy," because you could do it because you didn't do anything. But yes, he was in trying to get this thing rolling. Same thing happened to Bill Cosby trying to buy NBC.
Yep.
Bye, Bill.
Yep.
Michael Jackson tried to buy Sony.
Yep.
Tried to buy Sony, but Michael Jackson started attacking the Jewish community too. It wasn't just buying Sony. He started trying to talk about how the Jews were monopolizing and running the music industry, and that's why he said, "That's that song. They don't really care about us." And he got in trouble for the lyrics in that song and everything because he's too influential to let that kind of information out.
Also, why Kyrie lost all of his deals by putting that movie out there about the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Amazon's the one that hosts it. Whitney Houston was trying to buy the rights to her music. She had to go.
Yep.
Prince was exposing the music industry. He had to go.
Mm-hmm. That's why they say anytime you try to come for that.
Also makes sense on why Kanye been kind of quiet, because at one point he was talking about Ye for Prince in 2024.
Nah, they put him on some medicine or something.
That's exactly it. It made him look crazy.
Yeah, they put him on medicine, bro.
Said the Kanye we have now.
Yeah, that ain't the same Kanye they was cutting up 2 years ago.
Not the same Kanye. But even when he was doing that, you even heard that recording where he was in the car and they have handlers for the celebrities. Like, you better stop.
Yeah.
You better stop. We're gonna take everything from you. You're gonna be back doing X, Y, and Z. And then he disappeared.
Yep.
And then he came back quiet, being Kanye now. Oh yeah, Hollywood's, and there's a reason why, and that's what somebody else said. There's a reason why Hollywood keeps burning and flooding. You got you don't think that's unusual? Just saying.
So what you're saying is they're experiencing their own plagues.
Just saying. Let my people.
Bro, y'all remember Jay-Z was like giving Drake a warning in that one song? What's the song with him and Drake?
Yeah.
I think it's from what's the name song.
First day, yeah. He broke it down to him.
And even Drake said, "I never listened to Jay on that old song."
What's Drake? What's that song, bro?
Because the second time he brought it up was on Light Up.
Yeah.
But there was another song before that where Jay-Z was talking to him.
I think it's from Nothing Was the Same album. And it was a...
No, it had to be before that because Light Up was on...
Nothing Was the Same.
And
Light Up was before that.
And in Pound Cake?
Pound Cake, yeah.
Then it must be Light Up is what I'm talking about.
I think Light Up did come before.
It definitely
Nothing
came
Was
before
the
because
Same,
Light
yeah.
Up was on Take Care.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's another guy. I can't think of who he is, and he's big in the industry though. He's like, if people don't pay attention, it's always black artists that fall.
Yep.
not country, not rock. He's like, and if they do fall in there in another genre, it's like in a blaze of glory. They're going down with honor. But all the black artists across the board,
They
when
burn
they
up,
fall,
man.
drugs. It's got to be some type of health condition. It's
I
got to be
guess
something.
you're right because Elvis went out on the toilet of an overdose, but he's a white guy.
It wasn't all over the news and all the.
Man,
As long as I don't end up in a Venezuelan necktie, I don't give a shit.
But you got to be careful trying to save the hood. And the reason why I say that
You know
is
what that
even
is?
recently.
Do you not agree? Do you not agree? I don't give a shit. I hope this podcast gets big as long as I don't end that way. That's fucked up.
Why is he like this?
Contingencies.
It's a contingency plan.
My parents were military, okay? You get taught very early about structuring contingencies and being forced to wake up at dark 30 on Saturday and Sunday.
Man, structure my ass. Man, stop this podcast, bro.
Kind of fucks you up in the head sometimes. Just saying.
This nigga is crazy.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We established that already.
Exactly.
All right. Everybody ready?
I think I was born ready.
Then you do the intro. That way it's not always just me. This is a collective. This isn't my podcast. It's ours.
That's the first time I heard you trying to include anybody.
Bullshit. When we first started, I used to tell y'all to do the intro all the time. Des always say, nah, I don't even know why you had me start that. Man, just redo that shit. And you would always fucking, nah, I don't like that. Nah, just go ahead and do what you do. Bullshit.
I don't do that, man.
I got all the footage.
I don't do nothing. I just be chilling.
He do all.
I got all the footage. All 21 episodes.
I got all the footage.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Go rewatch them
It's
bitches.
260 gigs on that phone.
Go rewatch them
Every episode
bitches.
is recorded on that.
Go rewatch them.
Anyway.
It's always, anybody want to lead us in? Shit.
I'm camera shy.
Not anymore. Them first couple
Trying to
episodes.
figure out how to
though.
sit so my feet ain't dangling right now.
You good?
If you see me squirming, that's why I'm squirming. I'm like,
It was funny.
if I sit all the way back, my feet don't touch the floor. Look weird. I can't be in here like this, my guy. Yeah, you saw. I can't be sitting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I've been married the longest. Bring me to my next note. Stay off them little guys, man.
I'm gonna sit like this the whole podcast.
Right.
Yeah, we just. Oh man.
You know, on that note, welcome to another episode of With the Guys. In the middle,
This.
on the end,
Rated cousin.
right here.
Okage Khalid.
My name's James.
All right, James.
What are we talking about today?
Nah,
Delusion.
Delulu.
There's, believe it or not, there can be a healthy amount of delusion.
Hey man, so look,
What's going on?
we're gonna get this out of the way right now.
All right, let's do it.
That man is trying to be on my head, man. He's trying to be on my head.
I'm lost.
Yeah, I'm not. So today's topic is Delusion is Life. Delusion.
There's no such thing as not having a healthy amount of delusion.
Yep.
As y'all remember, when we were freshmen, I knew at some point at the max height I could have grown was 6'7".
Yeah, you was hanging from monkey bars and everything.
Fuck no.
No, it's fine. You know what
The
stopped your
fuck?
growth? Them ankle weights.
Ankle
That back injury.
Maybe. But no, what stopped my growth was genetics.
The problem with Delusion is Life, this topic that we have here, is that it kind of stems also into perception is reality for some people. That delusion of perception is reality is a problem.
If you allow it to be.
No, it's not about if you allow it to be. Some people will get a thought in their head about what they see going on, and that's all they can see at that point. That's all they can see. There's nothing you can do to change that thought in their mind. You can talk to them and walk them through it, but
Prime example, not to start a fire.
Yeah.
The whole woke agenda.
No, start that fire.
Some would say to be woke, depending on what side of the aisle you are, some would say to be woke would be delusional that this world's against you and you just got to see it. If you're from certain demographics, the woke is just a distraction, a way to just for people to just say that everybody's being racist to everyone except for them. If you're on the other side of the aisle, being woke just means that we're awake and we can see what you're doing.
I have some white friends that have confirmed that, and I have some white friends who are on the other side of it. Now, if we're talking about percentages, I would say it's maybe 70% of my other ethnicity friends who agree. The other 30 are all like, "Oh no, y'all are just crazy. You need to look at life as the glass is half full, not half empty."
Delusion is life.
Yeah.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Meanwhile, if we did some history on African American communities,
40 acres and a mule.
Was that
40 acres and a mule?
Hey, I'm
This
just
is
saying.
bigger than the music.
How many? And this, not to get too far into this, how many predominantly white towns are at the bottom of lakes compared to predominantly black towns in America? That's something you should look up. It's pretty interesting, actually.
Yes.
I would actually, to that point, implore you to look up the Tulsa Massacre. Because that was literally Black Wall Street.
Yep. Sure was.
And it had to go.
There is a unfortunate history in this country, whether people want to believe it or not, because it's all documented, which that's the problem.
Because they're teaching the racist rhetorics in all the schools.
And they want to take it out of the history of the country.
They want to take it out of the history.
Happen.
But we are in the information age. Praise the Lord for that. Where it's available and it cannot be erased. So
only thing they can do is say, "Oh no, this is fake. This was AI generated. This never actually happened." We know it happened.
Which, thanks to Ancestry.com, you can debunk that too. Because Ancestry, if you don't know, and this isn't a plug for them, they go from all the census reports. So you can see signatures and dates and locations and all that stuff when you start looking into the own background of your own family. My check's in the mail. Not just playing. But no. So delusion floats on the line of, and if you grew up in the church, some would say delusion. You have to have a certain amount of faith to be delusional that this dream is going to come true, even when nobody else sees it. Prime example of delusion: Kanye West when he first started his career.
Walk by faith, not by sight.
Kanye West when he first started his career, and this is documented, went to everybody he could go to and let them play it, and told them how it's going to be fire, and told them how he was going to blow up, and told them, and people thought he was delusional. Like, all right, it's going to, like, it sounds good, but same thing with Pharrell, Piece by Piece. If you haven't watched that documentary, he did his whole, like, an autobiography, but in Lego movie format, which is genius in and of itself, because he's not targeting this generation. He's targeting those kids that are coming up and giving them inspiration through a movie for them about him and how they can do what they set their mind out to do.
Nice.
But huge. When I tell you Pharrell's genius is, he's far surpassed majority.
Why you be beefing with him, Drake? No, I'm sorry.
Well, no. Drake's different on a few. Drake's different on a few things. We're just gonna let that be what it is.
But that is exactly why I say there can be a healthy amount of delusion.
There has to be a healthy amount of delusion.
Because there is not a single person that has ever been alive that has ever achieved anything or one of their goals that wasn't seen as delusional about trying to get there.
Mm-hmm. You're crazy. What I say, you're crazy until it works, and then you're a genius.
Yep. Factual.
However, there is also the other side of that, where delusion is just delusion, and like you said, some people can't see past their own nose despite the face. And these are those people. First post.
Am I the asshole for calling my now ex delusional? I mean,
That name, pizza.
it's your ex. I mean, you could call him whatever you want. I mean, many times when we break up with people, like we tell our side of the story. So yeah, you can call him whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
What really happened? That's what I need to know. If you're the asshole or not. So, I hope there's a story behind it.
Unfortunately, there is.
17-year-old male, 17-year-old female. Sir, there's a lot of delusion
Yeah,
at that age.
Definitely.
your nuts ain't even dropped all the way yet. I'm sorry.
Just saying.
It is what it is. It's the truth.
A lot of delusion at the teenage years. Your brain is still developing. Actually, developing more than any other time in your life, aside from when you're gaining your ability to speak.
Mm-hmm. I and my now ex-girlfriend were watching a movie the other night when she asked to go through my phone. That's teenagers. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This was weird because she knows the password, and I had her Face ID set on my phone if she ever needed to use it.
Oh, this is a fresh story.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said without hesitation yes, but I still thought something was up. 20 minutes later, she was still on my damn phone. I asked her if I could have it back. I made up some bullshit excuse, but in all honesty, I was just getting uncomfortable. I felt bad because she ended up saying, yeah, I just had to check something, but I got sidetracked and ended up scrolling, which I, of all people, understand. It had been about 5 minutes later when I rested my hand on her thigh and she said, don't touch me like you're not cheating on me.
Damn.
Okay.
I then replied, confused, what do you mean? She went on for what felt like an eternity about her saying that she thought we had something special. I still had no clue what she meant, so I asked her, what did you see on my phone? She replied, whose, and to keep this confidential, let's just say Jade. And why does she have hearts next to her name? Huh? I told her that she's delusional, and if she had went through my chats, she would see that that's my sister. I'm sorry, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up breaking up with me right then and there and said she needed a break for her mental health. You're 17. Okay. Not to knock mental health. This is not a play on mental health, but
No.
to just use this as an excuse right out the gates when you get at that age, like, come on now. Anyways.
I will knock mental health right there because yes, mental health is an issue, but everybody ain't got mental health issues. You just get stubborn.
This isn't a mental health situation
At all.
Continue.
Which I would understand if she didn't end up telling all of her friends that I was mentally and physically abusive.
Hey.
She's 17
At 17.
and immature. This is what happens when you give kids the internet before you teach them how to
So
use the information they're receiving.
Here's the problem that I have with that, though. 17 years old, getting called physically abusive by a 17-year-old girl. Man, I hope this young man is, I hope he's covered.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. What's the next slide?
But
That's
this one.
That's it.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's it on
That's
that
all.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my boy, you are not the asshole.
Yeah,
She's
not at all.
delusional. She's delusional.
Yeah, she is.
I wouldn't even go so far as say just it's simply delusional. She's immature.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And she's attention seeking. So.
It's not hard eyes, it's hearts.
No, you can do the hard eyes.
Hard eyes is kind of weird for me. Yeah, I'm not putting hard eyes next to like one of my siblings. I'm putting hard eyes next to somebody who I'm like Google Gaga with.
Which is why she was like that about saying this is my sister.
I wonder how she felt when you know what probably happened? She found out it was a sister and was like, okay, now to save face for me at school,
I gotta make up a story. Yeah.
this is exactly what you were talking about earlier. Projection knows no age.
Projection is the worst.
I'm just gonna go sit on Ryan next.
Dang.
My bad, y'all.
He's traumatized.
Yeah, projection is a problem. But usually, when somebody is projecting,
No,
they're only projecting what they're doing.
Exactly.
So they naturally assume that everybody's doing what they're doing.
And unfortunately, at 17, you don't have all the mental faculties to hide it better than you would at 27.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot easier to spot.
27.
Mm-hmm.
17.
Exactly. She's not as smart as a 27-year-old would be in hiding her tracks if she's cheating on that boy. I mean, you're not wrong, but that has nothing to do with it.
Aha, projection.
It wasn't a projection.
I knew
I
it.
see it now.
I knew it.
What, that was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for snapping at my wife and calling her crazy because she wants me to take a paternity test for my nephew? Oh, it's the last post
Fair warning.
from the two brothers,
Uh,
right?
uh,
From the two brothers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
she was ready to tell the husband, brother, they cheating, that she cheating.
That's
It's
kinda
the
wild,
Same
though.
people.
If you're in the same family, especially, that's kind of wild.
Hey, look, my brain is.
Look,
What's going on here?
this is a 3-part.
A 3-part?
This is a 3-part. It's the original post and then 2 updates. Just to show
Updates?
2 updates.
That's what I don't like about these posts, man. The updates.
You're gonna have to give us the gist on this one.
The updates be killing me, man.
Well, this is actually
I got it.
a
Let's
short
do it.
post.
Mhm.
It's just the updates that are coming after
Never
it.
said short. All right. My wife and I have been married for 10 years and together for 14. We're child free. I also have a nephew who's currently 13, and I'm not gonna lie, he looks a lot like me and has a lot of the same facial features as me. I'm really proud of him, and we have a close bond. Sounds like it might be your child, so you're gravitating towards him. I have played a father role in his life since he was a kid because he has a deadbeat dad, and my sister divorced him long ago. A couple of my family members have commented on how my nephew looks a lot like me, and while initially I thought it was wholesome, my wife for some reason became very insecure and started getting doubts. She was questioning when I needed such a prominent role in my nephew's life, and also why my nephew had autism, etc. The insinuations just became weird and made me uncomfortable. I do agree that my sister has played some part in my wife's insecurities because of her dry humor during family gatherings, as jokes about how wholesome it is that her son likes me. And your wife is setting you up.
You're right. It's the sister.
And also that she couldn't be happier. It's obviously just a joke, but I spoke to my sister and asked if she could tone it down a bit because it was making my wife a bit crazy. However, last night my wife finally asked me if I can take a paternity test just for her peace of mind. Yeah, peace of mind, my ass. She's not at peace with this.
No.
She will never be.
That's when I finally snapped and called her crazy, and that marrying her was the biggest mistake of my life. Oh, you sound like you know it's your kid, and you don't want the truth to find out, my boy. Hearing you say something like that. Anyway, I did immediately regret saying it because I meant none of it. My wife is the love of my life, but my wife got quiet and started crying shortly after, and I had to console her. Was I the asshole?
No.
Yeah, you kind of went left on it.
You went definitely left. You went
definitely,
left field, like
definitely
something that's
crashed
not
out
true.
in that moment.
Yeah,
Are
you
we
definitely-
missing the fact that his wife is saying that he fucked his own sister?
No, I'm not. I'm
No.
just saying though. I'm just saying him saying it was a mistake to marry her. He crashed out in that moment. I'm
He
not
should
saying
have.
that. Yeah, he crashed out. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So no, we're still on the same page.
Again, I will give this grace because I've seen this all.
Yeah.
I'm from Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
Louisiana is close to people in Alabama, Mississippi.
I know he was going.
Brother, it's more so Iowa where the cousin fucking happens, not Alabama.
Nah, I've seen it. In
It
Alabama.
happens in Bama.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
It
in
happens
Alabama.
in Bama.
It's not people
But-
of our color. I'm gonna be honest with you. From
It
what I've
almost never really is,
Yeah,
unless
from what I've seen, it's not people of our
that
color.
uncle that you don't leave around the kids is over there.
Yeah.
That's what happens in our family. But first update.
The gist of it is that I agreed to take the test and under certain conditions. I understand my wife is being paranoid and delusional, but I want to make the test. I want to take the test just to ease whatever irrational fears she has. Sometimes these fears have no logic, and I too have had some irrational fears before, and there was no logic in them. I spoke to my sister about it today, and she obviously was pretty angry at my wife. However, my sister and I discussed it at length, and she agreed to the test under certain conditions. What is this certain condition?
But it's your sister.
Like, what is
His
And
wife doesn't care.
Like, you all have the same.
She obviously didn't pay attention in science class.
Like, clearly.
That's worse.
Like, it's gonna be a pretty close match.
I just don't understand. Like, what is going on? I spoke to my wife after and told her I would take the test under some conditions. My wife was very happy that I agreed to take the test, and I then told her the conditions. The first condition being that she had to stop these insinuations immediately. My wife immediately agreed to it. The second condition being that we're going to go to. I'm sorry. There were going to be no more arguments on me spending time with my sister and nephew. My wife and I had some arguments over the years where she asked why I spend so much time at their house. My wife agreed to the condition, although she took some time to think about it. And the third and final condition was that I had liberty to go on vacations with my sister and my nephew without my wife being there.
He might diddy y'all.
Robert R. Kelly. Anyways, I told my wife up front that my sister doesn't want her to come on these vacations anymore. My wife was a bit more hesitant on this, but she ultimately agreed to it. That's probably my final update. Thanks everyone for the advice.
Well, clearly that was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like what's his name?
Maury.
Yeah.
And we found out that was a lie.
The results did come back, and it was as expected. However, my wife went back on her word and asked if I could revert the conditions, and I just told her straight up that I would look to divorce if she kept going on like this. My wife then freaked out and started crying and asked why I prefer my sister more. She asked if it was because she was unable to give me a baby. Oh,
Aha!
damn.
Now we know.
My wife has struggled with infertility, and I had to calm her down and tell her I was obviously not going to divorce her, but just to relax. I told her to keep a cool head and think rationally, and that she had to accept sooner rather than later that my sister and my nephew were always going to be my family. I also told her to look into individual therapy, like many people in my last post recommended. My wife was surprisingly very open to it, and she accepted she was being irrational, but she was just afraid of losing me. So anyways, my final update is I think we're going to make good progress, and therapy should hopefully resolve whatever issues my wife is going through. Whoa.
What's on your mind, Mr. Kaizen?
Need a drink.
You're afraid of... Makes my head itch, man. So you're afraid of losing him. So you keep bringing up something that has been debunked numerous times. And he's telling you, like, you can see everything. Everything there. I understand why the sister doesn't want you around.
It was looking weird when she said that. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was. I don't want you there no more.
No, I can see it because it's always going to be uncomfortable.
Do what we always want.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking when she said it.
No, it could be another situation like our last one where this lady's addicted to porn and now she's seeing the but she's not telling the husband that she has an addiction. She's just seeing all these weird stories play out in front of her, and she's like, I can't be a part of this photo novella. So could be a thing.
Ooh.
Insecure. That's all she was, bro. Super insecure. Especially since she can't have a baby. She's been infidelity.
And unfortunately, the way genetics works, if that kid looked a lot like him, all the wife can see is, if I could have a baby, that would be our son. So what's to say that that's not his son?
Reality.
I mean,
genetics.
Genetics. He's gonna be close.
Bro, people tell me my little brother look just like me, bro. I'm like, nah, he doesn't. I can't see it. Everybody else, nah, he's spitting image. You tripping.
Not a spitting image. Y'all look similar.
Thank you. That's how I feel about it.
But I mean, you've seen Justin.
Yeah, you and Justin definitely like kind of favor. Sure.
Y'all seen my brother.
Yeah, I know y'all. I know y'all brothers. Sure.
And even when we were younger, people thought me and Chris were twins. Obviously, deviation and all of that. And also, I appreciate my parents for giving all the baby face genes to me.
For sure. Appreciate you, Mom. Thank you.
I shaved this beard off and staying with my brothers. The one time I did shave my beard off, when I was 18, they thought I was the youngest one out of all of us.
He said, nope.
Nope. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she, this is one of those situations like you were talking about. She wanted to live in her delusion, regardless of the facts being presented. Next post.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife I'm not going to support her being a stay-at-home mom?
Thoughts?
It depends on what the wife wants in the relationship. Does she still want to have the Louis Vuittons and have all this? Like, is she still looking to be completely pampered? If I drop of a dime, like, look, this is my list of wants, and you're gonna do it, and I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom.
Quality of life comes to mind.
100%. That's the only question. If she has a demand on how she expects to live, and you're gonna be the mule that she cracks the whip on, then yeah, no. And I'm sure that he at this point definitely knows. Like, not with your taste.
That's probably why he on this Reddit making this post.
Just needs a little confirmation bias.
Yeah, you need to make sure he's not going crazy. Man.
But if she's like, hey, I support you, whatever we need to do, if we're eating beans and rice, then, I'll be a stay-at-home wife and we'll
better
eat it
or
until
worse.
we're good.
Man, you get a girl like that, but you better keep.
Right.
Because this day and age.
And that's where this post is made, this day and age. Me and my wife are in our mid-30s. We met in our 20s, and one of the main things that really made me like her was that she wanted to keep working. And she wasn't dependent on anyone. So for some context, I came from money on my dad's side. My mom's side is middle class, but not doing as well as my father. They aren't married. Me and my wife, who have one kid who's 3, and she's pregnant with our second. While we both work with our daughter, while our daughter is with my mom, since she's retired, my wife pays my mom to watch her. So the problem is that she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. I told her no, as I wasn't supporting that. She asked why. I said I prefer 2 working parents who would just give us more income. She said I could support us on my own, which I could. I still told her no. She asked again and again if she wanted to be one of those Instagram moms and do more for her kids. I told her I would consider it. She's been bugging me about it, and I told her if she wanted to do it part-time, she could, but that she would need to take on more chores in the house. She said no, as she would still be working on Instagram. I told her Instagram is going to pay less than $5 an hour at first, so that's not a real job. She's been crying and bugging me about it for a while, and I asked one of my friends, and they said they wouldn't want to be a financial leech either, which is kind of mean, but I see what they were doing. Am I the a-hole? About the person important.
I would say no, because I'm sure he's already expressed to her in the beginning, like, I like the fact that you work and we can do this thing together. And now you have, and I'm sure she's looking at, well, I really don't have to work. I can't really be there with the kids. That's cool. And it doesn't sound like she's had some huge demand on lifestyle, which is good too. So they just got to look at the pros and cons, like understanding that he's like, I don't, and I'm sure he's trying to protect himself and his family and what's going on. Like, just because we got it don't mean we gonna spend it. Where she's like, well, you got it, so technically we would. So it's got to be an open conversation, a quote unquote difficult conversation. You got to watch the last episode if you don't know.
Well, see, one of my main problems with this is, like I said, she's not saying that she's overtly wanting to live above their means yet. But trying to be an Instagram mom also comes with trying to get the products to push that and be an influencer. And the thing I probably have the biggest problem with is you wanting to be an Instagram mom means you have to show what you're doing with our children to the world. Why? Why are you trying to basically, well, it depends on what level. You're exploiting our children and monetizing them. Which, if you're doing it and showing them how to build a successful business as a content creator, if they're older children, cool. But you're talking about a 3-year-old and a newborn.
Right.
You're just using them to make money. So, and like, he can support it.
To the cabal, how much?
He can support it, which most dudes would. If you had all the money in the world and could support it, and your wife didn't have to work, most men would absolutely take that route if it means she was spending time raising those children and giving them their value. But to be an Instagram mom, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you got to give me a better reason. Like,
you got to give me a real job.
Yeah, you're gonna be locked into teaching the kids.
Yeah, like you got to give me a real like itinerary for this. Like that sounds like some BS to me. Like,
Hey guys, here I am again. You know,
hubby's at work doing his big one. That's all I can imagine in my head right now.
I mean, we've covered this before with the whole trad wife thing.
Yeah, we did.
Where they want to be at home, posted up, doing whatever they want to do. Half of them have nannies, so they aren't really doing any household chores or cleaning. Because he even said you'd have to pick up more of the chores.
And she said no. That's the next part. She said no. So I want you to still pay your mom to come help me clean up the house, but I'm gonna be in the house just fucking around,
working on my post.
Yeah, working on my post, not the kids.
Building my brain.
Back to Red's point, like I'm gonna be, teaching the kids this, like homeschooling the kids, like myself. Like, come on now, give me some pros. I'm hearing nothing but cons in this situation.
Now, see, the one area where I might be okay and agree to this is if this isn't going to be an instant thing. You want to work for like the next 6 months to a year and build up a big savings.
Well, I'm paying $100 a week. Yeah, savings ain't gonna be that big if she don't change what she's doing.
Yep.
If everything else remains consistent.
True, but the only reason I would give that grace is if you're trying to be an Instagram mom, quote unquote. If you're using that as a caveat to content create, cool. Because editing is a job in and of itself. If you're doing real work, okay. But if we're just making a cute little post just to show off that my husband's got it all, like you said, no, I don't think I can be with that. But next post, shorter one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to divorce my wife because I was honest from the start? Yeah, that's what it said.
I told her it was like this. I ain't changed.
You accepted me.
You said it was okay.
I'm triggered. My wife and I separated 7 years ago after 15 years together after I cheated on her.
Damn.
Oh, I'm not triggered anymore. I was drunk and I don't remember, but I ended up making out with a colleague and several people witnessed this. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't regret cheating. Not only on my wife, who is the love of my life, and my children, but the idea of cheating on anyone. My wife asked me for divorce at the time, but then she would lose any insurance and pension she could get through me and all benefits. I convinced her that we could still be married on paper, and of course she can get a divorce whenever she wants to remarry, and she agreed. We have a very cordial relationship now, and our children are very well adjusted to this new dismal existence, and they are relatively happy.
So they adjusted, but you not. Go ahead.
All right.
Dismal. Yikes.
That's the word that hung me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
golly. Our youngest doesn't even remember us as a family. Now, to my problem, I've been very honest with my girlfriend that it wouldn't be any marriage. Now, after 5 years together, she is accusing me of wasting her life and is giving me an ultimatum. She has gotten a nice diamond ring from me, and she was very happy about it because she wanted us to have rings to mark that we aren't available. And I loved it, but she knew it wasn't going any further since she got the ring, and she has been very angry and saying that I was just leading her on. I feel very guilty and I doubt myself. But I have never lied to her once. I feel bad, but I've never promised marriage. Am I the asshole for not wanting to get married? Am I the asshole for leading her on, quote unquote?
Go for it.
Yes, you are. Yes, this gentleman, yes. Unfortunately, he is the asshole. Even though he told her everything in the beginning, he shouldn't have bought her the ring.
I was just going to say the ring is where you
shouldn't have bought her the ring until you start working toward that. Because if the original wife decides she's not ever going to get a divorce because she needs to make sure that she's part of this pension if anything happens, and the kids stay on the insurance should anything happen, then she's not ever going to get the divorce because she's already like, all right, cool. At least I have what most women look for, safety.
Yep.
And that's what that whole arrangement is about. So, yeah, this goes back into the beginning of the Bible. Very beginning, Genesis, with Adam and Eve. The main problem with men, and this is across the board, that we have is being complacent and going along with it. That is what gets us in trouble since the beginning. Because if you go back and read the story, Eve is in the garden talking to the snake. The snake convinces Eve to do what she does, even though Adam's like, hey, God said this isn't a good idea. But it says, and it's written, and he was with her. Adam was there the whole time. But because of him being complacent, be like, hey, that's you, it's not me. It is not written that way. It is our responsibility to lead. So when God does come back, the first things he says is, well, two things. One, hey, where are y'all? He's God, he knows. But he's at the same time saying, lie to me. I see you.
Say y'all.
He said, where are you?
He said, Adam, where are you?
Yes. He said, Adam, where are you? So he comes up and then the whole discussion happens and he says, what did I tell you to do? It is our responsibility, men, to ensure that we lead this thing.
Ladies, you heard that? God said it's the man's responsibility to lead. Let him lead.
That's the way it works. And you can pick any religion. You can pick most religions out there.
Where you want to go.
I can't wait till we have women on here.
So the reason why it is his fault is because he at that point wasn't leading. I'm sure he was pressured into getting the ring by her at some point. Like, well, she said, what are we doing? And he's like, hey, I'm going to get you a ring.
I hear you. But the wife wanted the divorce. He said no.
Because of the insurance and the pension.
Yep.
Which is a safety.
The wife wanted to leave him.
Mm-hmm.
He said no. She wasn't the one pushing for her to keep all that stuff. She wanted to be done with it. He's the one that held on to his wife because that was the love of his life. He even said it himself. So he's an asshole even further because, one, you've already admitted that your ex you cheated on is the love of your life. Why are you proposing to this next woman? And two, she wanted to cut you loose and you're still trying to provide for her. You can still do that. That's why there's alimony and child support.
Yeah.
There's nothing that said he had to remain married to her for that. Because I guarantee you, he's worried about his pension and insurance. The judge is going to make sure your kids are insured either way. And you would have been paying her because you've afforded her a certain lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're an asshole in my book, because you don't want to let go of your wife to remarry to this new woman you're supposedly in love with.
Now you're in love. Now you're playing The Bachelor. You're in love with two women and you got to make a choice.
Man, crazy.
Only one gets a rose.
Unless you're
But
Polly. No,
yeah, he's the asshole.
yeah, he definitely is the asshole.
In Utah, got to move.
I mean, in most places outside of the United States, you can.
Yeah, Akon was trying to put everybody on.
Only Neo, listen.
Yeah.
But the caveat to having multiple wives in most of these other religions, including in Utah, you can't be broke talking about I want 5 wives. You got to be able to afford all of them.
Yep. Because most times they are stay at home or working very minimally. So yes, to answer the question on this one, yeah, it's you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with that because you're not trying to let go of that previous relationship. She's okay with letting it go. That's you who's over here worried about this quote unquote insurance for the kids. She's saying she can get it on her own. If that's the case, just pay child support.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wasting that girl time.
Yeah, I'm about to agree. She's right. You're wasting the time.
You gotta know how women is about their time.
I hear
that's why
they're only fertile for so long.
But I thought you would change. I thought I was gonna change you.
And that's why I put this one in here just to show it's not always the women that's delusional. Some of you dudes out there are just as bad.
Yep.
Absolutely. I've said a few times, and some people have heard it and they like it. Some people don't, but it's true. 9 times out of 10, dudes cheat because they are trying to reassure who they are as a man. Just what it is. A lot of chicks take the blame. I should have done this. I should have done that. Hey,
Nah.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't you.
What
It was
is it?
him. It was him.
It was him.
It was all a dream.
Whatever reason, he was feeling less than, and cheating gives him that one up.
Selling it to you. That concludes this episode, y'all. The Coggex Lid checking out.
DTF. I am Dez.
Rated Cousin. I don't know how long that outro is gonna be.
Yeah.
And I'm James. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all next time.